CVK, I'll begin with you. You recently started calling out your advanced AI revenues. Speaking of that, how much has the industry actually realized the potential of Gen AI, and what do you see in the future Gen AI, agentic AI deliver? And I'll come to you after that, Sandeep.
Yeah, I think the leaders across the IT industry are very well appreciative of the potential of AI to not only transform their services, but also the clients and their businesses. Uh, in any tech cycle, generally the technology catches the consumer fancy at certain point in time. And the enterprise adoption takes 3 to 5 years because there's a lot of complexity within an enterprise. So you will start seeing this rapidly speeding up from here on. We're almost in the third year. So I think it'll really accelerate.
Sandeep, where do you see in the curve that we are in currently in terms of the potential of Gen AI and what it can deliver to enterprises? What do you see in the future that Gen AI or agents can be delivering to enterprises?
So first, I'll agree with CVK. We are in an initial stages of the innings. People understand the potential. People understand the potential right from tech companies, how they deliver products, how the products can be used in an enterprise. There are initial use cases, and the foundation for the overall, the data preparedness for the enterprise is being laid right now. And over a period of time, whether you are a tech company, healthcare company, financial services company, you'll embed AI where it needs to, not necessarily Gen AI only, but AI. And the potential for us as an industry, whether you are an enterprise or a tech services company, it is like for the next 5 to 7 years, you will see much more being adopted.
Got it. But when we're talking about Gen AI or agentic, perhaps for the non-boardroom guys, it's all about somebody is going to be eating your job, right? Given that, what are the hot sectors that both of you see where we can where Gen AI or agents actually have the potential to very effectively replace humans? And do you see that happen in near future?
Yeah, we see it across sectors. There's a lot of effort to use generative AI to amplify or enhance what the human capabilities are, and also efforts to replace human efforts. However, instead of sectors, I think there are many functions like customer support, marketing, content creation, software development, data decision-making systems. It's these functions where we see this adoption rapidly increasing, and that cuts across sectors.
So just to add to that, see, the way we are looking at it is, it's not AI replacing humans. It's AI enabling humans to do much more, much faster, also spawning off newer markets. So if you look at an enterprise in the form of an industry vertical, let's say you are in drug development and pharma, you can do it much faster, much better today. If you're in financial services, you can do things like anti-money laundering related analysis. You can do much more in terms of investment analysis if you're a private equity company. So the use cases are humongous, and it's also spawning off newer markets.
So, CVK, given that, picking up from what both of you said, the tools that can be used effectively is when the human is using it, right? In that curve for your clients, perhaps, when you're trying to deliver agents and put them into use in their own enterprises, how much is the awareness on the client side where they can actually effectively use it, or in the curve, where does it stand,
I think awareness is high, but there is also a lot of ambiguity, right? Because there is so much of noise from different technology providers, different solutions. Sometimes it's people mistake what can be done very effectively through traditional AI, and they believe that needs to be done through Gen AI. So there's a lot of confusion. I think it's kind of settling down, and the true value where one need to really leverage generative AI. There are some very good use cases which are getting into deployment, and we will see the scale.
Sandeep, are use cases enough to convince clients to sort of adopt Gen AI?
See, the best way to do it is many companies like us or HCL and similarly others, we have been working with our customers for long. So it's not about looking at a use case and convincing the customer. It's about looking at a customer's business and their customer. And in that context, seeing where we can effectively use this. And we don't need to necessarily, since generative AI is there, not everything needs to be done by generative AI, as CVK said. We need to go business by business, deep understanding of that business, and see where it can have meaningful use case in today's this thing.
Uh, One thing that I want to understand from both of you is both of you have announced in the recent past collaboration with hyperscalers, chip companies and other, tech companies, if I can call them. How do these actually help you in terms of your own AI journey, in the ambition that both of you have when it comes to the IES space?
Yeah. So I think we need to have an end-to-end capability to really deliver a complete business solution to a client. And this can start from silicon to cognitive infrastructure to data, the models, applications, and then the business process. So at the different parts of the stack, we see a need to partner with some of the technology providers. And we strongly believe that all of this contributes to building the intelligence layer, and that's what all the technology OEMs are focused on, building the intelligence layer or the compute that is needed for it. And our role as a service provider is really to make this intelligent layer relevant for an enterprise and be able to scale within an enterprise. Because we understand the enterprise context, because we've been running a lot of application development, a lot of work for various Fortune 500, Fortune Global 2000 companies. So that context awareness and an ability to apply this in a client's context is where we really excel.
Sandeep, where do you see drawing the synergies with these collaborations?
Yeah, so CVK said it right. See, the thing is this. This is a fairly large landscape in terms of technologies that are available to us. And there are multiple different technologies that can solve the same problem. We have to be the guardian from the customer side, figure out what is available, what is the best technology at the best price point at this point in time or any point in time to solve those. Second, we will always, so we are building certain platforms, for example, at Persistent. We can do end-to-end, or we can integrate with certain hyperscalers or others. So it's about having a bouquet of capabilities, and we don't necessarily need to invest in the entire 9 yards. So for example, NVIDIA is there. There are hyperscalers who are bringing that to market. If they can bring it faster, better, cheaper than us or somebody else, we have to be able to leverage those. And again, at the end of the day, the center point has to be the customer, the use case, the business.
Also, what we're seeing with most of the IT companies is, there's a big shuffle happening with their entire talent pyramid and, recalibration that we are happening. But if you have to look into the future, with both of you, heading companies where same is undergoing, you've announced, you're going to be rewarding guys with extreme elite talent sets a lot more. Given this scenario, CVK and Sandeep, in the next decade or so, what would be, if an IT engineer today wants to be relevant, how does he stay relevant in the next decade?
So two parts to it. One is the existing manpower that we have. So in this entire journey, the interesting part is it gives us all a new pivot to reinvent ourselves, to understand the implication of Gen AI in our own sense. And this is across the stack. So that is one part for the existing people. And we are doing a lot of investment. The biggest investment we are doing at Persistent, and I'm sure the same is there in technology services, various firms, is about the training, learning development, bringing the people up to speed on the latest. The second part is the newer talent that we are looking for. It is not necessarily about the freshers only. We are also looking to bring in talent which is different than us. So if we look at the tech services companies of the future, let's say there's a trend evolving where we will not just provide services, we'll also bring IP, platforms, partnerships. So we need to have people who have been there, done it in a different context. So you will see the mix changing, both from training people to learn these and bringing people from other industries into our companies, whether it is domain or technology.
CVK, your thoughts?
I mean, I would largely agree to whatever Sandeep said. Just want to emphasize that need to invest in IP is of paramount relevance, because there are so many different opportunities where we can make the AI adoption much more easier for an industry use case or a vertical. And in terms of the mix itself, I see this whole thing, number of layers could come down, and there'll be more self-managed teams. And software engineers, apart from coding and other things, they will also have to manage agents. So I think it's a kind of a combined operating model is what we see it evolving.
Given that both of you are at the implementation layer, what are, you know, 2 or 3 top things that CEOs present here need to be aware of in the Gen AI era to, you know, run better enterprises?
So keeping the time in mind, I'll say a thing and then I'll hand over to CVK. So I don't think it is about technology. It is about understanding your own business and in that context, understanding what technology can do for you. So we should not start technology up. We should start business down. What is the outcome that we want and where technology can help that faster, better, cheaper and make us more smarter.
Yeah, I think everyone should need to think of their business in an AI native mindset and be mentally open to completely reimagine your operating model and the business processes underlying. And of course, have a disproportionate focus on making your people AI ready. I think these are some of the top.
At this point, I'm trying to get one of you to disagree with the other, but, you know, seems a little difficult. So perhaps, CVK, any question that you want to ask Sandeep, and Sandeep, any question that you want to ask CVK?
Both of us come from we know each other for the last 25 years. Go ahead.
So maybe Sandeep, how do you manage to hit sixes every time?
Okay, so he's talking about how do you manage growth every time, quarter after quarter. That's what he's asking, correct? So it's all about, you know, so I have been at Persistent now about 6.5 years. Anand is here. He built a strong foundation. We have accelerated the capability build. It's at any point in time, making sure you understand where the market is going in terms of the technological advances and the business domains. Marrying those ahead of the competition and executing impeccably, doing the right partnerships in the market. Customer at the center, you execute, and the team at the end of the day is the biggest thing. So that's CVK, the best part.
Sandeep, your question to CVK now.
So CVK, you have started calling the revenues in AI. How do you see these scaling? Because in our parlance, 2, 3, 4 years from now, everything will be impacted by AI. So how do you take the journey from here till there?
I didn't realize that you become an investment analyst now. I think everything is going to be AI-led, and that's not what we're calling as AI, because AI used in service transformation is business as usual. But there are IPs that we are building, the revenue on that, and there are a lot of specialized services like physical AI, AI factory, robotics, work on silicon. So these are all what we classify as advanced AI, and we've seen a good rhythm, so we decided to call that out.
One final question. 5 years from now, how will the Indian IT services companies look like?
Continue to evolve and be the pride for our country, I'm pretty sure.
I think the tech services sector in India will evolve. It will be thriving despite all the hype about AI will take the jobs away and so on. I think Indian tech sector will reinvent with IP and services. We'll have the revenue per employee much different, profit per employee much different than what you see today, and a lot of us are working in that direction.
That was absolutely fascinating, and thank you so much for your time, and we hope we have a good evening. Thank you.